So I was obligated to go to Frontier City in Oklahoma City on a 10-hour drive from New Orleans. And the reasoning why, it's kind of weird, but I have plenty of time to explain it to you. If you had watched my previous videos in Alabama Adventure and Dollywood, my friend Lacey went from zero to enthusiast very quickly. And I was like, all right, well, if we want to be doing this shit, then we need to get Six Flags for passes, because that's like the nearest shit that's accessible or whatever. And we shouldn't be paying a lot if we're going to a bunch of shit. And she was like, all right, sounds great. So what do we do? And I knew that this was just before the new Six Flags CEO decided to do some weird shit with changing the pricing structure 3 times in 2 months or whatever on how Six Flags memberships work. But we still have the old school gold pass. That's not like it expired by like 4 different versions of tiers of Six Flags. It's insane. Anyway, this is last second shit. It was September, by the way. I'm recording this in November, so it hasn't been that long. Anyway, the way that it works is that depending on what your home park is, let's say that if you're in Six Flags Magic Mountain, your gold pass and your platinum pass, whatever, it's the same. It's the hold on, I'm saying that fucked up. It's the highest price if you were to buy that exact same thing in any park. And then what's the exact opposite? Well, it's Frontier in Oklahoma City, a Six Flags park that Six Flags doesn't even want to brand with the word Six Flags, because it's not quite good enough, which is weird for them to be saying that, even though the rides aren't exactly incredible. The theming's nice because it used to not be Six Flags. That's why. So I told my friend Lacey, here's what you need to do. You need to buy a Six Flags pass from Frontier City, because the gold pass, that'll get you into every park. Yeah, the gold pass got you in every park. Back in the olden days of 2 months ago. And then you'll be Gucci, and then you can get into all the parks for free. Mine was from Fiesta, Texas. I got my gold pass a year and a half ago from Fiesta. I'm paying $7 a month, and I can just shit into any park I want. Free parking. It's the tits. Even though the value of Six Flags is very low and getting worse, I still find it remarkably worthwhile because, wow, I said that white, worthwhile. Gotta fix that. Because it's so cheap, and Frontier City had that price. So she bought the freaking pass, right? And the next thing you know, we got fucking chat, because it said, all right, thank you for joining the Six Flags membership program. Please collect your pass at Frontier City. So we were obligated to go to Frontier City to activate it. We had to physically be there, so because it counts as your home park. I think that's their logic, so that people like us, somebody from Los Angeles doesn't buy a pass in Oklahoma City to save money, which is that's completely the point, which makes sense. Welcome to Frontier City. We were already planning on just going to Over Texas and hanging out over there 3 days after getting back from Dollywood. Yeah, we were I was between gigs and she was between jobs, and we were just trying to go. That's her, by the way, for that 1 second. Anyway, so we were going to go anyway on Sunday, and then we're like, well, I hope you don't have plans on Saturday, because we're now obligatorily having to go to Frontier City for us to continue with our plans, because we already had a hotel room booked, comped in fucking San Antonio for us to go to Fiesta, Texas a week and a half from the point of this video. Obviously a future video coming up as well. And it's just the whole thing. We couldn't do it all without going to Frontier City. And it was only 3 hours away from Over Texas, and not bad. It only took me 4 minutes to tell this completely worthless story. So, you remember Grizzly King's Dominion? You walk through a gift shop to get to a roller coaster, get some deja vu from that shit. And not the good deja vu, just deja vu, remembering a bad thing that makes no sense. So we go through that gift shop to go to Diamondback. It's listed specifically as Diamond Spaceback. I don't remember what it said just now in front of us, whether it was 1 word or 2, but in the books on our CDB, it's Diamond Spaceback, which drives me batshit insane. I think it sucks. I'm about to smoke some weed. Okay, so it's a Six Flags park, because even though they're minimal, you still got those, do you want the left side or the right side of Twix or whatever the fuck, you're hungry? I'm not hungry. I'm hungry for the advertisements. It isn't Snickers, it isn't even Twix. I smoke. So yeah, there's Diamond Spaceback after being advertised Snickers 4 times in 6 seconds. And It is one of 3 arrow-launched loops left on Earth after the other ones got fucked up by dying and being old and shit. And the other ones are in Blackpool, Pleasure Beach, Revolution. I made a mistake. I confused Revolution and Infusion at Blackpool, Pleasure Beach in a previous video, and I apologize about that. You guys don't even know which video I'm apologizing for, so whatever, just getting some receipts. Man, I'm congested. Sorry about that. I decided to record this while congested because I'm a professional. And so here's Diamond Space back. I'm walking into this park holding my hand mount, my little thing that Six Flags parks consider a weapon, but this park and Six Flags America seem to not give a fuck about full-blown Six Flags policy. I still, at this point, had no idea you weren't allowed to bring selfie sticks in the park. I got turned down in Over Georgia, but I thought that was an Over Georgia only policy. And then I went back after this into Over Texas, and like, dude, that's a weapon. You use a selfie stick. It's literally like a baton, grenade launcher or whatever. Can't be doing that shit. And not this park. Instead, I walk up and he's like, "Hey, are you a YouTuber?" And I'm like, pretending to be. And he was like, "Get on that shit." I'm like, "I never asked, but sounds good." So here we go. So here's a complete horseshit fucking POV. I'm holding a selfie stick. I got it like wrapped around my wrist, but so it's protected. It's not like it's gonna go fly and hit a bitch. I'm safe. And look, so on the other side of the station, you see another ride up. So like, how crap is this? You have to like do like a journey through the other side of the dirty parking lot so that you can do your job. And if you want to communicate with your team members, you have to like talk through some shit. And I hope the walkie-talkie system isn't fucked, because otherwise you have to like walk and stuff. I mean, I hope they get good brakes. Anyway, speaking of braking, this thing breaks down a lot, and it has a history of being a broken down ass roller coaster. So I'm really lucky that every time, and by every time I mean two, I might never return here, honestly, unless this was like an ace trip or something. American Coaster Enthusiasts are my homies, I guess. And I lost my train of thought. I won't be back. So this was great. And anyway, damn, I was on a roll with like just not shutting the fuck up. Let me drink some water. Maybe it'll help me remember shit. Oh shit, I got a drink too. So earlier tonight, I was recording these shorts. So basically, not shorts, like these little crap coaster review series things. And I recorded one for Frontier City using this garbage ass POV that I, with my hand mount in the park. And well, so far so good, because the way that YouTube takes care of YouTube channels that are in their infancy is that they nerf the shit out of you, because you have to like prove your worth and find your. I understand how that algorithm works. It has to find like the demographics that cater to the niche of your thing, and have to find out who you are with keywords and advertising. I've already done this before. I have another channel that's about knocking on the door of 10K subscribers, 50 to go. I won't tell you which one it is, because who cares? It's my karaoke channel. Anyway, so we're fucking around at Frontier City, and might as well have Lacey be here. And it's honestly a nice little stepping stone, because we're going to go to Over Texas, which is one of the big ones, one of the, the original Six Flags park next. So that's pretty sweet. And, so this is only a 10-hour drive with 5 hours notice, and we just had to sleep, and I had to take an Adderall. Adderalls are the shit as emergency shit. That's a whole thick can of worms, but I'm going to slow down on that. Anyway, so we went here, and I'm looking under the train. I'm sure there's some nerd who's going to be like, "Oh, that's the under axle wheel side friction derailment device," whatever. I don't know. So we're leaving Diamondback, and I'm really fortunate to have been able to ride it both times that I was there, because it's honestly, it looks like nothing burger, with it's just like, oh hey, you get launched forward, you do a loop, and you get launched back when you do a loop. But it's crazily intense, and it's also, obviously, other than the historic part of it being both during an era of nothing looped and nothing launched, like that was some wild bullshit. But even holding up till today, that launch forwards, you're like, whoa, shit, I didn't expect that shit, right? And on the one backwards, even better. You really didn't expect that shit. The shit's strong. It's a strong pitch. And I recommend the fuck. I'm clicking this because like my shit's stuttering, and I want to click that shit so that maybe my. Don't worry about me. I record these videos. I have to do voiceovers under something under 4K so that my computer can tolerate whatever I'm doing. It's just the whole thing. Whatever. All that matters is the end product for the consumer, so that hopefully I can monetize. You see how I sound like a capitalist? But you kind of have to be, because like my end game with all of this shit that I'm doing is that like I just want to. I want this to pay for my coaster travels in the future so that I can just be a shitlord and just, make videos that look like this wherever I go, and then just make the excuse that I'm reviewing, quote unquote, open air quote, sarcasm quote, reviewing the content and guest relations in the parks and whatnot. So anyway, as you can see, this is not very Six Flagsy. This looks kind of nice. It looks almost like a bootleg, Disney bad part of the park looking area, bad part of town, Frontier Town, Fort Frontier, sorry, Frontier, whatever. I don't even think there was a joke available there that I didn't land. I'm having a sip of my alcohol because, so I was doing, that's what I was talking about earlier. I recorded a bunch of short videos earlier tonight, and the search engine optimization is working really well because they lead into the bigger videos that I made. So I had to slow down on making the big videos, and this is my first one in a hot minute, and this will start series 3 because I wanted to have that little introductory 2-minute long shitpost video that'll lead people in who otherwise wouldn't have clicked. Because one thing that I've learned from like all these like YouTube channel making like accounts and shit, and like people who like study this shit, is that the average YouTube viewer, whenever they're watching any YouTube video whatsoever of any topic ever, they're just looking for an excuse to click out. So if you don't hook them in the first 15 seconds and then keep them lured in, then they're done. So I made a video at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, that's 79 minutes long, but it starts with me sounding like, like a wimpy little chode in the first beginning, like, not sounding like I have confidence in my voice and that it's interesting. So that's 78 minutes and 37 seconds worth of completely worthless footage because nobody's staying. You can't be doing that shit. So I needed to make it to where the algorithm is now recommending my shit just a little bit more. So that's why I put out those, short videos. And boy, these tangents, it has nothing to do with Frontier anyway. So Frontier anyway. Doesn't have anything to do with Frontier City anyway. Let me have a drink and I'll come back to talking about Frontier City. Jameson and Coke Zero. It's 7:30 a.m. I'm only drinking 2 of these because at like 8:30 a.m. I need to go to get my tires aligned, and like I think I hear a noise, like some axles fucked up, and that sucks. I'm just trying to fill the night because I just said I was going to talk about Frontier City. I'm clearly doing that. So we're walking down, and I think the next thing we're going to walk up to is their family suspended thing that I think we've seen this exact ride in my videos twice already. But here it is again, and what's this? I'm congested. That's what you're hearing. It's not that I'm dying. Yeah, very quality. Is it still wet? Nope, I actually dried it off. That's good. At least me doing that washes it off, because in other videos it's like stains and shit on the camera and you can see it and it sucks. It's like completely renders the premise of 4K footage completely. You can't run in park. Six Flags policy, and all of them say don't do that. I'm sure he's listening. Alright, so now I'm just looking at this drink. I've earned this drink. I've worked 9 hours today on these coaster videos, and then I decided instead of quitting to record this that I'm not even publishing for a few weeks because missed fans and crowds. So this is a Saturday at a Six Flags park at the end of the season, essentially. Saturday though, remember that Six Flags America video? Six Flags is struggling. If you hadn't been to Six Flags parks, 2022 was the year to fucking do it. Steel Lasso, that's what it's called. I've been trying to remember. I can't remember because it doesn't matter. It's cool. Every park's dead all the time. Nothing, the crowds don't want to be there because they keep changing the policies on what everything costs. And the CEO of Six Flags, I forget what his name is. I keep hearing it. He's a chode ass. He sucks. He's like, well, lower income people, if we can raise the price and excommunicate, that's the wrong word. If we can exclude them from the parks, then that means that the upper quality clientele, the Cedar Fair clientele, will now be in our parks and pay more and love more and spend more. No, it doesn't work that way when the Six Flags amusement park experience is not even labeling your park as a Six Flags, being advertised Snickers. And then you got what? Your Holy Grail, Six Flags Magic Mountain, which, has 6 or 7 roller coasters down out of 20 every time anybody visits. And now they can't even fucking maintain staying open 365 days a fucking year. They're closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays now. What kind of downhill shit? Six Flags is going to go bankrupt and they're going to be bought out. And I don't know. I just hope the parks don't get fucked. We don't need another Astro World, clearly. Anyway, Steel Lasso. It was the crappiest for sure of these suspended Pamela coasters. It wasn't good. And then the Dollywood one that I rode was great. And it was like the same fucking ride. It was like noticeably, tangibly crappier. Silver Bullet, I rode this at my first and what I thought would be my only visit to Frontier City, and I had a good time on that son of a bitch. It has a really good head chopper moment. I'm thinking I like it more than Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa. Never touching Riddler Mindbender and never fucking touching Shockwave, or I'm assuming wrong thing, near my Edmonton, the Mindbender things. And then fucking over Texas, man. I'm just completely butchering English right now. But basically, it's like a C minus tier Schwarzkopf. Including the fact that like the D and F are gonna be like those, portables that aren't Olympia looping. It's pretty good though, considering Schwarzkopf is a pretty high standard defunct manufacturer where that still has pretty good reputation. Worth it. And the ride ops, 2 different people I talked to were like, well, that's the crown jewel of the park, and it was down all season, so we didn't get to ride it this time because of a part, I don't know, something like that. But it was down for a long time. And everyone was upset, and it sucked that Lacey didn't get her Schwarzkopf credit. But then later, well, no, because she rode Riddler Mindbender right over Georgia, didn't care for it, so, it's not like this was going to be any better. I really do love this part of the theming that they do on this fucking roller coaster right now, because it's paying homage to like all of the coasters at all the other parks. And pause it and check that shit out if you feel like it or whatever. But it's not exactly fully comprehensive because it can't be, but it's very expansive, I must say, relative to like what they could be covering, I think that whoever was in charge of decorating the station with this shit is clearly a roller coaster enthusiast. Anyway, Wildcat has a special place in my heart that's kind of unusual, that I'll explain, in that it is like a national amusement device company fucking roller coaster. And in my hometown of New Orleans, the original park was Pontchartrain Beach, opened 1929 and 1983. And their coaster, the Zephyr, which was basically the iconic only wooden coaster that old school New Orleans really ever knew, other than the obscure shit from the early 1900s, which, come on, are you kidding? That was a coaster also, NADC. So me riding Wildcat at Frontier City, and after watching the POV of Zephyr on YouTube, which I can't believe is there, but it's there, it now gives me kind of perspective on the nuances and the feel of what it was like to ride Zephyr, because it's a manufacturer that I had never ridden before, and this is the only one remaining. That being said, what's my review of it? It's not very good. It's not good. It's not great. It's in my 150s or some shit. But that defeats the purpose. It's old school shit, and also the maintenance was probably not great because this was relocated from some other shit. Where was it relocated from? It was relocated from Fairyland Park in Kansas City, Missouri, 1977. Whatever. So yeah, it's a pretty lower tier wooden coaster. I won't deny it, but the setting is pretty cool. in the woods. It's fun. It's still worthwhile. I would still ride it twice because wood coasters from that era, they're old school. They're worth it. When was that originally built at that last fucking park? Shit, I lost the page. How professional is this fucking shit? Wildcat, Fairyland Park, 1967. So it's a 45-year-old roller coaster. That's pretty old. Actually, shit. And the one from the Zephyr was like 1930 or something. So maybe those two coasters had fuck all to do with each other, and this whole thing that brought me joy about riding Wildcat isn't worth a fuck. Whatever. I'm smoking some weed. Give me a sec. Drink some water, please. Park map. I don't know anything about the flats, the trash cans, or the locals. Because when I was in Frontier City the first time with my friend Colson last year during a big ass road trip that we did from New Orleans to Austin to Lubbock, Amarillo, Oklahoma City, the Missouris, Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World. That was like the big Hollywood Nights trip that I did in 2021. This was like in the middle of the road. I was tired. We were here like as a one and done. And I was blazed because he was driving, so I was just so high. I was just crazy high, and I didn't really remember it. And then this time, honestly, I'm at the park in this video with you about as long as I was in the park. You know, other than a couple rides, which I didn't record because I didn't feel like looking for a permit or asking for that shit. I mean, shit, I walked into the park and I'm like, sir, you can be in this park with your selfie stick, but you cannot record on the rides. I'm like, I wasn't gonna. Which is still wrong because Six Flags policy is supposed to be you can't do it at all, but and then you got the ride up on fucking Diamond Space back who says, yeah, you want to just get on it? I'm like, sounds great. I wanted to leave him a tip, but I didn't want to have him say no because you're not supposed to or something, but he deserved it. In smaller parks, by the way, I do that shit. Like places like Wonderland, Amarillo, and ZDTs, you know, not too far away from there. I'm sneaking $20 bills to these write-ups for, you know, just being, you know, chill, fun as fuck. I'm not going to say what chill means because I don't want to, you know, like, screw up my stuff. So that flat exists. This whole area, it's nice and cozy and pretty and shit, but I'm not even really sure what's happening here. This really just might be a loop around back to the damn front of the park, I guess. The fuck did we cover everything? I know there's like a kiddie coaster still coming. What the fuck else is still in this fucking? So we saw Silver Bullet, we saw Wildcat, we saw Steel Lasso, we saw Diamond Spaceback. Okay, yeah. So really, all that's left is Frankie's Mine Train. Okay, RCDB. Thanks for alleviating my anxiety that there wasn't a park coaster that I skipped in this park with only 5 minutes left remaining in the video, because like that's one of the things that I want to make sure that I do in every video, because if you look at the description and the timestamps and shit, I try to walk in front of every station of every ride in every park so that I can like couple it with a POV and an RCDB entry, and you know it's a gimmick that I'm trying to perpetuate with my channel. So Wild West gunfights, I don't know, I have no idea. So we're going, I guess, toward Frankie's Mine Train, and I remember at this part in the park, I was like, I have no idea where the actual fuck Frankie's Mine Train is, because when I did go on it, I did collect the credit the year prior. I just teleported to it, rode it, and left it, and I'm like, did that happen? Colson was like, yeah, I promise it did. I was like, all right, let's go eat dinner. We went, by the way, there was a place in Oklahoma City, ask in the comments about it if you care, but it was like a fusion restaurant. Absolutely delicious. If you find yourself for some reason going to Frontier City, you should eat at this place. Just inquire and I'll tell you it's delicious. I had like some scallop fusion Asian empanada. I mean, it's good. It's like S tier shit. What's going on? Okay, so this is me trying to look for Frankie's Mine Train. I think I'm looking at it as like a write-off's behind my ear, and Lacey's like, just listen to the directions and stop being fucking high. And actually, by the way, it sounds like I'm perpetuating like she's being a bitch. No, I was just being. I admit when I'm the one who's wrong, and honestly, I'm so high right now telling the story. I don't even know if I was right or wrong, or if there was even hostility in here. Okay, so look, up in that top right corner. Oh, I know. Okay, is a Larson loop. It's not a coaster. That's the joke. Moving on. Is it a Larson loop? Do they have different models of that? But those loop things, they're all not coasters. We were just talking to a ride-up. The guy who was telling me the directions on the Frankie's Mine Train shit. He was the one who told me that Silver Bullet was fucked all season and that it's a real shame because that's our crown jewel. We really hope that for next season it'll be back because that is the highlight of Frontier City. While on one hand, that's kind of sad that is like the highlight of Frontier City for their park because it's like a lower tier Schwarzkopf as the best coaster allegedly in the park. I disagree. I think Diamondback is better, mainly because of aero nostalgia, to be quite honest with you. I think Silver Bullet really is a better star attraction. But it's sad, but on the other hand, like, I live in New Orleans where Steel Lasso is a better coaster than the only operational coaster in my entire state. So I might as well just kill myself, I guess. No, do not kill yourself. That's a bad joke. I'm not trying to be doing that shit. You don't be doing that shit. Don't kill yourself. Go on that sky zipper line net. I have no idea what it's called. Bathhouse. Even going back to like historical stuff, bathhouses sounded like really creepy, weird places to be. Like if I were in like the 1880s in like the peninsula at Cedar Point when like all it was a bathhouse with maybe like a future of rides, I wouldn't go there like, let me bathe around others in the house in public or something. Is that even what they are? Maybe I'm telling fibs. Alright, so Saddle Rock Cafe, never been there. I have no idea what the fuck. I didn't call it this time, but like try to shout out Dippin' Dots. I did it quickly. So I'm going to Frankie's Mine Train to end this video because like there's nothing you want more to give you a truly climactic ending to a valuable YouTube video about a Six Flags park that nobody even knows about than to go, man, I hope that this hierarchy structure of the sentence still works. That's still the same write-up giving directions. Was you walking half the park with us? Then to end a video with a suboptimal Zamperla or something. Is it Zamperla? Roller coaster that nobody cares about. Doesn't matter. Not even the people who've been to Frontier City give a fucking effervescent fuck about this fucking roller coaster. Well, whatever. Zamperla Family Gravity 80 STD. It totally has STD in the name of the model of the roller coaster. Alright, so we're about to ride this sexually transmitted disease. I wish I didn't start that sentence because that sounds atrocious. Name, Frankie's Mine Train. Frankie's got a gonorrhea apparently. Rockies, Ranger Plains, whatever. Seed corn. What's seed corn? So, in summary, Frontier City, it's worth going if you're hitting like the Amarillo Wonderland route, Cliffs Amusement Park, and you're on a big trip and you're trying to get all the shit. Other than that, not really. I mean, it's only a few hours away from over Texas. That's kind of nice. That mine train is. You see how I didn't talk about it? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Alright, so look, I'm gonna get one more ride in this video on Diamondback, but in real life I'm about to end this video, and you should end this video too, because you have to. Alright, goodbye.